evolve and transform, but not to emerge into life and death, voracious anger, silly delusion, and the various kinds of degeneration, but with good fortune, blessing, and happiness to engage in the cause that produces effects in another stage of existence, and obtain life in heaven above. And so not to fall down into the netherworld. That character at the center, that was translated here as, when it went into voracious anger, silly delusion, the various kinds of degeneration and confusion, insanity, sadness, lostedness. That's what that character represents. And that's where it fits in the mandala that is the universe. Only in the netherworld. None of that is real. None of that is part of the altar of reality that is what Taoism stares at. So those are the characters for that sentence. So that's the character for insanity or delusions at the center is not there to radiate outward, but because it's the drain that the heavenly tidings are drawn down. But if it's blocked off, then the tidings that rain down from the universe can accumulate, kind of like a lake, a stormy drain, that all the great snow that is the gift of life, the prana that comes down, the chi that rains down from the universe as the universe spins around us. Rather than let it go down the drain that is the netherworld, we can freeze over that lake and let it accumulate. And that's what a Buddha does. And that's what an immortal does. Abiding in, guarding, and watching over the harmony of the chi is the name for the mystery of mystery. Only quiescent clarity, King Jing, and non-doing, or Wu Wei, are the methods of the highest vehicle. And those are the two sentences on the outside of that mandala. And this is a clearer picture of the character. It's pronounced Chi, and it's unconsciousness, delusion, perplexity, infatuation, ignorance, folly, and that's what can only happen in the netherworld of the human mind, and it doesn't happen on the altar of reality. One of the three poisons, desire, dislike, and delusion, here occupies the center square, which, as in other mandalas I've drawn, it's the only place it can, because it doesn't actually exist anywhere in the jade flower that is the altar of reality, but only in the netherworld of heart and mind, just an artifact of the culture of science and reason that doesn't actually exist anywhere. So there's, of course, in Hinduism also the concept of Maya, and Maya is the illusion that's that netherworld of heart and mind, and it's not a bad thing. It's illusion that was created by a God who loves you for your enjoyment, but it's still completely beside the point. So unlike the cosmic vision of modern consensual reality today in industrial society, where we treat the altar of reality like a garbage heap while piling up comfort and pleasure in a netherworld that doesn't exist, and treat that netherworld as if it's the only thing that exists, the vision in this scripture called the Jing Wulang Duran, or the Boundless Salvation, the Scripture of Boundless Salvation, is the snowflake of consensual realities at the center of a cloud that created it, and that is its true self, with a capital S, from which it receives its salvation, its prana, its chi. It's something to integrate with rather than to compete against or ignore. It's something to join with or to form an alliance with. And this existence is pure, elemental, natural, filled with mystery. But we tend to ignore most of what's going on here and treat that realm treat our world like it's a coliseum of selves. And each self acts in a reality show trying to win some game based on our own choices. But the great empty space is filled with peace and tranquility. So from the point of view of Taoism, the Qi is the magic in the air, on the wind. It's the transcendent gift from heaven that rains down on us, and it's stored in the mysterious receptacle of stillness that makes us alive. We breathe it in. We can't see it, we can't hear it, we can't feel it, we can't taste it, but we can breathe it. And that's the energy transfer of consciousness into our bodies. The so-called consciousness is just a deep well inside life with butterflies that buzz to give the form some direction, some interactive potential. Ideally, it's a mirror of the altar of the reality that is the jade temple all around us. And it's just a cardboard gift for the thing that is the universe, or wears the universe as its costume. It's the grand chi ocean of purificatory and rectificatory breath. The altar of reality is just a cardboard gift that will, of course, one day burn up, because it's made of time. Material reality and the consciousness of it in the netherworld of heart and mind is really just a whole beautiful dollhouse that is a distraction for play and ultimately beside the point. And that's the point of view of the Lingbao Taoists. So the idea there in the picture at the top, Ling, the first character is Ling, the mysterious energy of qi on the wind and rain and light, and the other character's heart. And a heart full of that Ling reflects it back outward and doesn't make it go down the drain into the netherworld that doesn't exist. The mind of the ultimate man functions like a mirror, is a phrase from a Taoist book collected here. Or another phrase I found that made the same point: still be like a mirror, responding like an echo. And that brings up another phrase that's central to Taoism, but way less known than Wu Wei. Wu Wei is typical in all the Taoism philosophy books for non-doing, and different translations of that. But there's another one that means responding like an echo or like a mirror. So we can, another phrase there that I took from Norman's translation: exceedingly distant, the mirror reflects it out. You can touch the edge of the universe by being still and reflecting the universe back on itself. So the modern world of mankind and its pneuma, or its chi, its essence that rises up, the modern world is the depths of the abyss for the Taoist immortal, the Xian. And the red charm, shining in the depths of the abyss, is the Brahmanistic behavior, they call it. Controlling the heart and mind, controlling the breath, engaging in the cause that produces effects in another stage of existence, studying the Tao, studying to be like a sage or a saint and following the scriptures, making as strong an effort as we can to control our breathing and our mind, so that our counterpart, who is universal, will be in harmony with us and can take it from there, changing things that we cannot see or cannot know, like our bodies and their function, but things that affect the whole, including the complexities of the body. Brahman, Cinnabar's bright ray, is another term they use here for it. The Tao of the inside and the outside. It's not only our partner, but it's ourselves that we're reflecting. While we are working with time and events, we're letting our universal counterpart outside of time and events take it from there. The red charm, shining in the depth of the abyss, is the effort I make as a spirit, controlling my breath and controlling my mind. And the Cinnabar's bright ray is my universal counterpart throughout the cavern that is the great jade crystal of the altar of reality. And it's reflected better by my charm and in harmony with me on a universal scale, working as my partner and handling or returning the complexities of my body. So another couple of sentences I found in the translation: in compliance with these rules, this red charm, the reflection, reflects upon and looks after the mind, while Cinnabar's bright ray handles the complexities of the body. And maybe that's that I was extrapolating on when I wrote that. The sign of brilliance in the deep abyss is the charm. So the other phrase that I was talking about, but in addition to Wu Wei, another important piece is Gan Ying, and it's those two characters in the middle there. Stimulus, response, resonance, the simple reflection of a clear mirror. So Gan Ying is that reflection. There's a a Chinese coin. There are lots of Chinese coins, and they have different diagrams on them. This is one I found that had the model of the universe, or there are different astrological signs on there, Big Dippers there, the Milky Way, the Sun, Venus, the different things they'd see. And notice that the square at the center, that's the Earth, and within the Earth, there may be the square of the netherworld of our human mind. And the picture is that the jade charm, the green part there, is the universe we can see. Outside that is another circle, a larger bubble, the red charm. It's previous heaven, from before heaven split off from Earth. It's the unity, it's the mix, and that is where all the prana and the chi rains down from. So if I were going to build the model of the universe they're describing, I'd have a cube, and that cube would be empty, ideally just empty and clear and reflective. And if I were modeling exactly what I thought was going on here, it'd be a little more foggy and different things moving around instead of being still and maybe not perfectly reflecting. But ideally it'd be an empty cube, and outside of that I'd have a green sphere that surrounded it. That would be the universe, kind of like the armillary sphere. And outside of that I'd have another sphere, a red sphere, and that would be previous heaven, the red charm that we reflect back after the prana and chi rain down on us. Or in Mayan it's its. The itsam is the shaman, because he has the its, he collects the its, and he transfers universal its into personal its, or chi, or prana, or manna from heaven. So we return the manna from heaven back to heaven, creating our own salvation. So the two characters at the center there are Gan Ying, that perfect reflection, that resonance. At the top it says the red charm, and the other sentences here are the cinnabar's bright ray. The vermilion ray contains the Tao. Going from the right over to the left, these are just phrases I found out of the scripture that back up this vision that I've extracted. Be like a mirror. The spiritual omen inside reflects the surpassing shine that pervades throughout the 100 barriers of appearance. Exceedingly distant, the mirror reflection opens outward. The marvelous power within the heart and mind is realized to its perfection in the Tao, the mirror reflecting the ray of boundless salvation. Respond like an echo. So ideally, that's the image they create. By sending us the 10,000 Chinese characters in the scripture, this is the living vision they create. And it's one where at the center there is that vision, and if we ideally grow like Buddhas, like Taoist immortals, we're growing our own salvation that revolves around us, and that's how we are the cause that produces effects in another stage of existence. So it's an image of spirit ideally abandoning the netherworld. One of the 6 harmonies is Wu Jiang. No thought or longing, no wishing, wanting, hoping, expecting, or conceiving. Constantly flying up and away from something of infinite depth, its root. Spirit infinitely dense with truth, ever full, and so infinitely perfect that any thought, wishing, wanting, hoping, expecting, or conceiving is unnecessary. So like the cloud, spirit simply flies up to heaven in perfect, clear reflection. In the Hindu Upanishads, Brahman is the final goal. And here the imperial pilot is Cinnabar's bright ray that takes us away toward Brahman. And so one last set of lines that I translated, and this was my translation from Scroll 53, and near the end of it, and it's again about the sphere. The forever defended, inexhaustible wisdom of the dreaming emperors of universal spirit that grows in leaning knots and slowly flowing tears, whose evening dance is the turning of the wheel, whose external manifestation is the 3 borders of past, present, and future existence that ripens in the soaring of time, ascending guided by the imperial pilot into the power of quiet clarity. And so the last few things I've been describing here are not actually, well, they're in the scripture, but they're sort of what I've extracted from it. And so I have one more thing on Amazon that I called The Taoist Universe in the Lingbao Scripture. And this vision that it creates, and I can kind of explain how it's created by using these various lines. So I'm a shaman, and Charlie 5 is my medicine name. And I'm a Taoist immortal, I'm a Buddha. And I found the word for shaman in a Chinese dictionary somewhere. It was a loan word made of 3 characters. So the sa is it doesn't actually, it's not a picture, it's a loan word sound from Bodhisattva, which is the Buddha who comes back to help people. So it's the sa from Bodhisattva in Sa Man Jiao. Man is a character that means fullness, wholeness, contentment, completion. So it's Bodhisattva of fullness, wholeness, contentment. And Jiao is actually the word they use at the end of any religion. So Dao Jiao, or Buddha, Fo Jiao, is Buddhism. So Jiao is used for any religious teaching. So it's a Bodhisattva of fullness, wholeness, contentment teaching. That's what a shaman is. I thought that was interesting. And then I invented a little rhyme that is what I am. Because I'm Buddhist and I'm Taoist. I could say it that way. Or I'm a shaman, and Charlie 5 is my medicine name. Or I could say I'm Saman Jiao Xing Fo Fa Dao. So Saman Jiao is the word for shaman. Xing is walks. Fo, up there, is the character for Buddha. Fa is method. A Buddha walking on the Buddha law. It's method or law. Buddha law, when you see Fo, Fa like that. The Buddha method that is the Tao. Because the Tao, the Dharma that the Buddha is enlightened to, is the Buddha method, or the Buddha law. So I'm a shaman, a bodhisattva of fullness, wholeness, and contentment teaching, walking on the Buddha law road that is the Tao.